Introduction: a 90-year tradition meets the digital age. For 90 years, the Masters Tournament has stood as a tradition unlike any other in professional sports. The azaleas blooming in perfect synchronization, the roars echoing through the Georgia pines when putts drop on Sunday afternoon, the iconic green jacket ceremony that crowns golf's newest champion, and the television coverage carefully controlled, meticulously produced, and for decades, seemingly unchangeable. CBS and ESPN have ruled the broadcast landscape at Augusta National for generations, delivering the same familiar presentation year after year. The same limited television windows that left large portions of tournament play completely invisible to viewers. The same frustrating gaps where critical action disappeared into commercial breaks, leaving fans wondering what they had missed. But in 2026, everything has fundamentally changed. Amazon Prime Video has just crashed through the gates of golf's most exclusive party, bringing with it innovations that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. 2 additional hours of live coverage each day during the crucial first 2 rounds. A completely reimagined, data-driven presentation of Amen Corner, the tournament's most famous 3-hole stretch that will make statistical analysis enthusiasts absolutely ecstatic. Jack Nicklaus himself appearing in the broadcast booth in what represents a true streaming-first approach that could finally drag Augusta National, kicking and screaming if necessary, into the modern entertainment era. The Masters will never be the same, and golf fans across the world are already picking sides in what has become a passionate debate about tradition versus progress. Number, the old way, controlled scarcity as brand identity. For decades, essentially since television coverage of the Masters began in any meaningful form, the tournament has operated under a deceptively simple but rigidly enforced philosophy: less is more. Limited television windows that created appointment viewing, no commercial interruptions during the back 9 on Sunday, allowing the drama to unfold without interruption. A broadcast so carefully controlled and orchestrated that even the veteran announcers seem to lower their voices to reverential whispers when calling the action. CBS has been the primary broadcast partner since 1956, an astonishing partnership spanning 7 decades. ESPN joined the family in 2008, taking responsibility for coverage of the early tournament rounds during Thursday and Friday. The formula worked extraordinarily well for a very long time. Millions of viewers tuned in year after year, accepting the significant gaps in coverage as simply part of the Masters' mystique. Part of what made the tournament special was its exclusivity, its scarcity, the sense that you were being granted limited access to something precious and rare. But that mystique, that carefully cultivated scarcity, came with substantial costs that became increasingly difficult to justify in the modern media landscape. The frustration of the casual and devoted fan alike. Golf fans, both casual viewers and devoted enthusiasts, have complained for years, with increasing volume and frustration, about missing their favorite players in action during critical moments of the tournament. During the first 2 rounds on Thursday and Friday, television coverage traditionally did not begin until 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That schedule meant that hours of competitive play, potentially including incredible shots, dramatic momentum shifts, and emerging storylines, were completely unseen by the television audience. The Masters mobile application, developed and continuously improved by longtime tournament sponsor IBM, did offer every single shot on demand through its digital streaming platform. But even that solution came with a significant and maddening drawback: a frustrating delay between when shots actually occurred on the course and when they became available to stream. For the casual viewer who simply wanted to watch golf on television, the experience was fragmented and incomplete. For the devoted fan who wanted to follow specific players throughout their entire rounds, it was genuinely maddening and often impossible. A small step forward in 2025. In 2025, Augusta National Golf Club took what was, by their standards, a relatively significant step forward into the streaming era. They added 2 hours of exclusive weekend coverage on Paramount Plus for Saturday and Sunday rounds. It was a clear acknowledgement that the streaming revolution could no longer be completely ignored, even by golf's most traditionalist institution. But even this innovation wasn't nearly enough to satisfy the growing appetite for comprehensive Masters coverage. The early rounds Thursday and Friday remained a frustrating black hole of missed action. Hours of golf played by the world's best players simply disappeared into the void, unseen and undocumented by any broadcast platform. The stage was set for something more dramatic, something that would genuinely shake the foundations of how the Masters had always been presented to the world. September 2025. The announcement that shocked golf. Then came September 2025, and an announcement that sent shockwaves through the golf world and the broader sports media landscape. Fred Ridley, the chairman of Augusta National Golf Club, a position of enormous authority and influence in the sport, stood before assembled media members and announced a partnership that virtually nobody had seen coming. Amazon Prime Video would become an official broadcast partner of the Masters tournament. Let that sink in for a moment. Amazon, the e-commerce and technology giant that had aggressively moved into sports broadcasting over the previous several years, had successfully negotiated access to golf's most exclusive and jealously guarded event. Working alongside Amazon in this capacity is an exciting opportunity for the Masters tournament and its fans, Ridley said in the formal announcement. The addition of Amazon will only further our abilities to expand and enhance how the tournament is presented and enjoyed by audiences around the world. The statement was carefully worded, as all Augusta National communications are, but the implications were revolutionary. For the first time in the tournament's long and storied history, a streaming service, not a traditional television network with decades of sports broadcasting heritage, had successfully cracked the gates of golf's most exclusive event. And the changes that Amazon planned to bring were unlike anything Augusta National had ever previously allowed. Number, the core innovation, 2 additional hours of live coverage. The headline news was simultaneously simple and seismic in its implications. Amazon Prime Video would broadcast 2 additional hours of live Masters coverage during the first and second rounds. The coverage would run from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday and Friday, filling the gap that had frustrated fans for decades. For the first time in Masters history, fans would be able to watch the early afternoon action without waiting for ESPN's traditional 3 p.m. start time. The black hole of missed golf would finally be filled. The broadcasting team. To anchor this new coverage, Amazon made a savvy choice. Terry Gannon, the veteran announcer, with extensive experience at Golf Channel and NBC Sports. Gannon would host the broadcast from Butler Cabin, the iconic structure on Augusta National's grounds that has been central to Masters broadcasts for generations. But Gannon wouldn't be working alone. He would be joined by a rotating cast of special guests, and the headliner was someone whose presence would provide immediate credibility and gravitas to Amazon's inaugural Masters broadcast. Jack Nicklaus himself, the Golden Bear, the greatest champion in Masters history with 6 green jacket victories. And in 2026, he would be celebrating the 40th anniversary of perhaps his most memorable triumph, the improbable 1,986 victory when, at age 46, he turned back the clock and shot a back 930 on Sunday to claim his final major championship. Why 2 hours matters more than you think. The addition of 2 hours of coverage might not sound revolutionary on the surface. After all, we're talking about a tournament that spans 4 full days of competition. What difference could 2 additional hours possibly make? But for dedicated Masters fans, this was genuinely monumental. The Masters had always been defined by its carefully cultivated scarcity, the limited broadcast windows, the controlled access that made every moment of available coverage feel precious. The sense that you were watching something rare and exclusive. Amazon's arrival fundamentally threatened that traditional scarcity model. The tournament would now be more accessible, more transparent, more thoroughly documented than ever before in its history. But Augusta National, ever the pragmatist, despite its reputation for stubborn traditionalism, found what they believed to be an appropriate balance. Additive, not replacement. This is crucial to understand. Prime Video's coverage would be additive to existing broadcasts, not a replacement for anything that fans already had. ESPN would still broadcast from 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday and Friday, exactly as it always had. CBS would still handle the prestigious weekend coverage on Saturday and Sunday. Paramount Plus would continue its early weekend streaming coverage that had been introduced in 2025. The Masters wasn't abandoning its established broadcast partnerships or completely reinventing its media strategy. It was expanding its footprint, reaching new audiences, providing more options, all while maintaining the core broadcast relationships that had served the tournament well for decades. Number, the immediate reaction, a divided golf world. The response from the golf community was immediate, passionate, and deeply divided along somewhat predictable lines. The traditionalists expressed concern. Traditionalists, those who valued the Masters' carefully maintained mystique above all else, worried openly that Amazon's presence would cheapen the product. They feared that the streaming giant's flashy graphics, its data-driven analytical approach, and its modern presentation style would clash fundamentally with Augusta National's timeless aesthetic. The Masters had always felt different from other golf tournaments, more refined, more exclusive, more special. Would Amazon's involvement erode that distinctive character? The progressives celebrate long overdue change. On the other side of the debate, progressives, particularly younger golf fans who had grown up in the streaming era, celebrated the move as long overdue. They saw it as encouraging evidence that even the most tradition-bound institution in professional golf could recognize changing viewer habits and adapt accordingly. The Masters has often appeared restrained, even stubbornly so, said Tim Hanlon, chief executive of the Verdery Group, a sports business consultancy. But younger audiences have fundamentally different expectations of how sports should be consumed. They are accustomed to flexibility, to immediacy, to platform ubiquity. They want to watch what they want, when they want, on whatever device they happen to be using. Augusta National was listening to these changing expectations, and the biggest innovation in Amazon's Masters coverage was yet to be revealed. Number, Inside Amen Corner, a data revolution. If the 2 extra hours of general tournament coverage were the headline that grabbed immediate attention, Inside Amen Corner was the feature that had die-hard golf statistics enthusiasts practically salivating with anticipation. The traditional Amen Corner feed. For years, the Amen Corner streaming feed has been one of the Masters' most popular digital offerings among serious golf fans. The concept was elegantly simple. A dedicated camera trained continuously on holes 11, 12, and 13, the famous 3-hole stretch where Masters tournaments have so often been won and lost. The feed allowed fans to watch every single shot on those holes without interruption, without commentary if they preferred, just pure golf. It was simple, effective, and beloved by purists who wanted unfiltered access to the tournament's most dramatic stretch of holes. Amazon's revolutionary reimagining. This year, Amazon decided to put their own distinctive spin on the Amen Corner concept, creating something entirely new. Inside Amen Corner is being positioned as a statistics-focused, data-driven broadcast specifically designed to appeal to the most analytically obsessed golf fans. The kind of viewers who don't just want to see shots, they want to understand every element of strategy, execution, and course management that makes those shots succeed or fail. The planned features include advanced analytics that break down player performance in real time, swing analysis using high-speed camera technology and biomechanical tracking, scoring zone illustrations that show optimal landing areas and the statistical probabilities of different shot selections, real-time ball flight tracking that displays club speed, launch angle, spin rate, and projected landing zones, on-screen overlays that explain the strategic thinking behind every shot selection. What we're really hoping to do is to use data, analytics, and technology to tell stories and deliver insights in a much deeper way about that signature 3-hole stretch, said Jared Stacy, Amazon's director of global live sports production. We want to really get into the strategy of how to play certain shots there to help viewers understand not just what happened, but why players made the decisions they made. The broadcasting team for Inside Amen Corner. The Inside Amen Corner broadcast will be hosted by Justin Kutcher, Jeff Ogilvy, a former PGA Tour winner and U.S. Open champion, and Smiley Kaufman, a young announcer who has quickly built a strong following in golf media. Legendary swing coach Michael Breed will contribute features and analysis throughout the broadcast, adding his technical expertise to help viewers understand the biomechanics of great golf swings. The coverage will run from 10:45 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday and Friday, and from 11:45 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. That adds up to more than 20 hours of dedicated Amen Corner coverage across the tournament's 4 competitive days. The NFL Thursday Night Football model. For fans who have grown accustomed to Amazon's Prime Vision alternative broadcast for NFL Thursday Night Football games, the concept will feel familiar and immediately understandable. That football feed, which has developed a devoted following among NFL statistics enthusiasts, offers endless analytical details, alternative camera angles, advanced metrics that aren't available on traditional broadcasts, and a generally more data-intensive viewing experience. Inside Amen Corner aims to replicate that success within the golf context, creating what is essentially an alternative Masters broadcast for viewers who want maximum information and minimum traditional commentary. I think fans are going to see the presentation of these iconic holes in a way they genuinely haven't before, Stacy said confidently. The Maxed. The response. Excitement mixed with trepidation. The announcement of Inside Amen Corner has generated enormous buzz across golf media and social platforms. Golf Twitter, the passionate, opinionated, and extremely knowledgeable community of golf fans on social media, has been buzzing with excitement and speculation. Professional analysts have been praising Amazon's willingness to innovate and push boundaries. And traditionalists have been holding their breath, wondering nervously whether Augusta National has finally gone too far in its pursuit of modern relevance. But Jared Stacey, who is leading Amazon's Masters coverage, clearly understands what's at stake. This isn't just another sporting event for Amazon to cover. This is the Masters Golf's most prestigious tournament, an event with a mystique and tradition that must be respected. Stacey has watched every Masters broadcast since he was 7 years old. He vividly recalls Larry Mize's incredible chip-in on the 11th hole during a playoff in 1987, one of the tournament's most memorable moments. He approaches his responsibility with appropriate respect, not with the arrogance of someone who thinks technology alone can improve everything. I think we see the world a lot in the same way as Augusta National does, really being respectful of the tradition of what the Masters represents, but also being willing to innovate thoughtfully, Stacey explained. Those two values aren't contradictory. They can and should coexist. The result, if Amazon executes well, will be a broadcast that feels both comfortably familiar and excitingly fresh, a blend of old and new. A testament to Augusta National's carefully calibrated willingness to evolve without losing the essential soul of what makes the Masters special. Number, the Jack Nicklaus factor, bridging past and future. The 2026 Masters marks the 40th anniversary of one of the most remarkable and beloved victories in golf history. In 1986, Jack Nicklaus, already a legend, with 5 Masters victories and 14 other major championships to his name, was 46 years old and widely considered past his competitive prime. Most observers expected him to make the cut and play respectably, but few imagined he could seriously contend for the championship. Then Sunday happened. Nicklaus shot a back 930, one of the greatest 9-hole stretches in major championship history, to claim his 6th green jacket and 18th major championship. The roars that echoed through Augusta National that afternoon became the stuff of legend. The image of Nicklaus pumping his fist, his son Jackie caddying beside him, remains one of golf's most iconic photographs. Amazon leans into history. Amazon is strategically leaning into this incredible piece of Masters history. Jack Nicklaus will appear as a guest commentator during Prime Video's coverage, offering insights and perspectives that only the Golden Bear himself can provide. His memories of Augusta National, his strategic understanding of how the course should be played, his stories from decades of Masters competition, all of this will be available to a new generation of golf fans. The decision to feature Nicklaus so prominently is strategically brilliant on multiple levels. Nicklaus is golf royalty, respected and revered by fans across all generations. His presence lends immediate credibility to Amazon's broadcast, signaling clearly that Augusta National trusts the streaming giant with its most precious asset, the tournament's rich history and carefully maintained traditions. But Nicklaus is more than just a nostalgia act or a legendary name being used for marketing purposes. He's also a savvy businessman who has built his own media ventures and possesses a keen understanding of how the sports media landscape is evolving. His willingness to participate actively in Amazon's streaming coverage represents a tacit but powerful endorsement of the streaming model for premium sports content. The broader industry trend. I think you'll continue to see more and more premium sports content moving to streaming platforms, said David Burson, president of CBS Sports. The Masters is no exception to this broader industry trend. And with Jack Nicklaus on board with Amazon's approach, the transition feels less like a disruptive force and more like a natural evolution. Number, behind the scenes, years of negotiation. The partnership between Amazon Prime Video and Augusta National Golf Club did not happen overnight. According to sources with knowledge of the negotiations, the two organizations held multiple meetings over several years before finalizing the agreement. Amazon's sports broadcasting credentials. Amazon's track record with live sports programming gave Augusta National the confidence that the streaming service could handle the enormous responsibility of broadcasting portions of the Masters. Consider Amazon's sports portfolio. NFL Thursday Night Football. Amazon holds exclusive streaming rights to these games, which consistently draw millions of viewers. Select NBA games through various international deals. NASCAR coverage in certain markets, UEFA Champions League soccer in multiple territories. This demonstrated experience with major live sports events, combined with Amazon's enormous technological infrastructure and financial resources, made them a credible partner in Augusta National's eyes. We are humbled and proud to begin our relationship with Augusta National Golf Club, and we cannot wait to get started, said Jay Marine, Vice President and Head of Prime Video's Sports Department. The feeling, according to all available evidence, appears to be genuinely mutual. A test case for the future. The 2026 Masters represents a critical test case with implications far beyond this single tournament. If Amazon's coverage is well received by fans and critics, if it successfully balances innovation with respect for tradition, it could open the floodgates for other streaming services to bid aggressively on premium golf. Broadcast rights. Imagine a future where Apple TV+, Netflix, or other streaming platforms compete for rights to major championships, PGA Tour events, or international golf competitions. The entire economics of golf broadcasting could be fundamentally transformed within just a few years. Conversely, if Amazon's Masters coverage fails to meet expectations, if fans reject the new approach, if the data-driven presentation feels intrusive rather than enlightening, Augusta National may well retreat back into its traditional shell, reluctant to experiment further with new media partners. The appetite for Masters coverage remains strong. The early indicators suggest that the appetite for comprehensive Masters coverage remains extraordinarily strong. CBS averaged 12.71 million viewers for last year's final round broadcast, the largest golf television audience in 7 years. The Masters consistently outperforms all other golf tournaments in viewership, often by substantial margins. Amazon's addition to the broadcast lineup only increases the viewing options available to fans. And contrary to the fears of some traditionalists, there's little evidence that making the Masters more accessible will somehow diminish its mystique or special character. The mystique isn't threatened by having more eyeballs watching it, said Beau McCrear, co-host of the popular Betting Pros Golf podcast. If anything, I think it's enhanced. I wish I could watch every single golfer hit every single shot on demand, even more so with the Masters, which has the most interesting and strategic golf course in the world. Number. Additional innovations, highlights, and historical content. Amazon is also debuting several additional features designed to enhance the viewing experience for different types of fans.